Bison Media Zone on WDAY Xtra.
Bison Media Zone on this Wednesday. We do it each and every Wednesday at 10:35 on WDAY Xtra. We'll chat about the Bison baseball and softball teams coming up, as each of them has some big series. Bison softball actually heading out to Las Vegas. The Bison baseball team will open up play at Newman Outdoor Field this weekend. It's the earliest the Bison have played a home game at Newman since 2017. Of course, it's South Dakota State that is on tap there for the NDSU baseball team. So we'll preview that coming up later on. But we are in the midst, of course, of spring football. The Bison are into their third week of practices. Another couple coming up to wrap up the week with the Green and Gold game to wrap things on April the 20th. And we've tried to have each member of the staff, one way or the other, get on either Hot Mic or on the Bison Media Zone. I'm really excited to have our next guest to join us. He's the new Safeties coach at North Dakota State, and you certainly recognize the name. Mr. Devin Klieman is good enough to join us on the BMZ on this Wednesday. It's great to see you. Does it seem like real now that you're back in Fargo, you're coaching at NDSU?
For the most part, yes. It's just, there's some things I feel like we're in a time capsule at NDSU, and then there's other things that you're like, $40 million, $50 million indoor facility. You're like, holy crap, some things have changed. We're not in the bubble anymore. So it's really cool to see those things.
How does it kind
of where NDSU is involved?
Just tell me, how does it feel now to be coach? It's different now. It was, you're a position coach, that you were a grad assistant. Now you're out, you're doing different things, but the title of coach is next to your name.
Yeah. The coolest part is still the interactions with your players, especially in a position meeting setting now, because now it's truly, hey, what do these guys know? Doesn't matter what the heck I know, right? Can they go out there and do it fast? How do I need to kind of touch each kid and make sure that they have their learning and kind of their certain points that they have knocked out before each practice? It's definitely different from an organization standpoint a little bit at times.
So a couple weeks ago for the first practice, was there nerves? Did you have that? What were the emotions like?
Honestly, when you get on the grass, I just wouldn't say nervous. You're just trying to stay up with the flows of stuff. And that's where I'm fortunate enough to know kind of the structure of practice, that it's going to be organized chaos at times. As long as you're running around and you're trying to get to the right spot and right drills, you're probably all right. Just coach while you can.
What has been maybe the biggest eye-opening part or most fun that you've had so far?
Shoot, the most fun, I think, is still just how much player-driven this stuff is and how much guys are owning and honing in on details. Like, as a coach, I'm talking about first step on whether I'm helping on special teams. We're talking about punt footwork. Well, it's going to be just as much the older guys saying, whoa, coach, talk about that point. They're the ones stopping and telling me at times, which is awesome to see how much that means to them and everything that we're doing.
When you get a chance now, especially with your age as well, do you think that helps with the guys you're coaching, that there's familiarity there, and age-wise, I guess?
I think it always helps. More so, I mean, when you talk football, it doesn't matter really what your age is. You know, obviously you're either talking on the high scale deal. Obviously, guys getting into the program, they're all figuring out everything that we're talking about. It's maybe a little bit more simple, running to the ball, effort, those type of things. Off the field, where I think it helps me, obviously, talking about the current rappers, the current artists, the current trends a little bit. That helps me a little bit more. Now, we give just as much crap to some of the older guys that are saying, no, I know all about this, so we have some good banter with staff and players, kind of back and forth with that.
To walk into a safety room where you have an All-American in Wisniewski who's coming off an unbelievable season, how much does that help you, guide you through the first couple months of this?
It's a huge help. There's some stuff, detail-wise, I'm asking, hey, how was it a couple years ago, a year ago? How similar is my coaching style, is my details of that? And they'll say, Coach, that's the exact same. Or, hey, can you hit this technique one more time? Just so we're on the right page. But I mean, him and Sam are awesome in our room. Ryan Jones is awesome in our room of veteran guys. So they're easy to lean on, as well as you got to have your stuff ready for them too, because they're going to be like, whoa, that's a little bit different. So it's great for me also from a prep standpoint going into the meeting. But no, they're awesome to bounce ideas off of.
So Bison fans, Devin, know Cole Wisniewski. They know Sam Jung. Give us a couple of young guys that maybe have caught your attention and could maybe really pop here between now and the end of spring ball.
Yeah, but honestly, our room, it's been really healthy competition, I thought, with some younger guys. Some guys that stick out. Darius Givens has done a really good job. He's playing fast. I know he had a huge role in special teams. Hudson Arts has done really well. He's been really physical. He's had some good thuds and stuff like that, being another boundary type safety. And then even the really young guns, Jalen Crumby, Reese Sheldon, all of them have had flashes and been able to show no different in Bison football. You got to earn your roles on special teams just as much, prove your stripes there, and then move into some of those roles. So it's been really cool to see those guys develop each week.
What is the biggest thing when you watch spring football, how it's evolved, even from when your dad was coaching here, how it's changed from 10 years ago to now? What stands out to you?
Here where we're fortunate is we're still doing a ton of double reps in spring football. Now maybe the structure that's a little bit different we'll single rep for about 15 minutes, then we'll get back to double reps just to kind of give bigger guys a blow. But I know in years past, even at K-State, we struggled having enough bodies with off-season surgeries, with the portal, stuff like that. So it's been really cool to see still the younger guys develop because they are getting all the reps. It's not, hey, we're splitting this up between 8 guys.
All right, so you got to give us the backstory. When the job opens and you're going to interview, tell me the conversation you had with your mom and dad about, hey, there's a job open in Fargo that I'm interested in.
Well, it was kind of funny because we were down at the bowl site for the Pop-Tart Bowl. And obviously everyone knows about the Pop-Tart Bowl with their antics during the game and stuff like that. So that was funny on its own. Well, the game ended, and I hopped on a Zoom the next morning. So it was a quick turnaround. Okay. We were flying out of there. So I woke up early and knocked that out. So it was kind of funny hearing them. They're like, well, hope you're ready. Hope you're prepared. I mean, and then my dad kind of joked with me. He goes, well, we better not give up too many points on defense. You can't be worried about the next job, all this stuff. So he just gave me a good crap. But it was cool to then hop on a Zoom and see a bunch of familiar faces, still in the D staff, still with Coach P. So it was fun to be on.
When it became reality, what was their reaction when you told them, hey, they offered me the job?
My mom and dad were really fired up, just because they knew how much I was preparing as a GA, as a younger guy, doing all the hard work, staying up there late, just making sure I was prepared. And I know, like, no different in my interview. The one thing, I love being my dad's son. At times, I hate being Coach Klieman's son. So I'm always earning my stripes. I want to make sure if someone takes a chance on me, they hire me, and they're not saying, no, he works his butt off. He's doing all the detail stuff.
I'm glad you brought that up because I remember talking to you right before the family left, right before the national championship game against Eastern Washington, and asking you about going into this profession. You said, my grandpa's coach, my dad's coach, I want to do this, but I want to go out on my own. Tell me about is the timeline what you thought of how this would work?
It's kind of funny. I mean, it's happened a lot faster probably. You just never know what your path or journey is going to be. Yeah. I can tell you some of the moves and some of the transition were really good for me. Kind of getting put into some different situations and some more uncomfortable situations at times. Being at K-State, going down to Abilene Christian, doing some different stops along the way. That it was kind of fun.
Has your dad ever had a Pop-Tart in his life before the game in December?
Unless myself, Haley, or Colby couldn't finish one of our 2 in a pack, I don't think he's having that on his own. But no, before, and then I don't even know if he remembers eating it. He was like, it was kind of gross. I don't know what was going on. Guys were grabbing it with their gloves.
Yeah.
These sweaty old linemen trying to get in there. So not the most sanitary thing. I can tell you, I wasn't jumping in. So.
It was a neat deal though, right? I mean, people were talking about it for weeks afterward.
They did a great job marketing it. I think people just thought of it as, a normal bowl game.
Yeah.
And they watched it like, holy, this is best entertainment of the night. So that was cool. And obviously it's fun on those when you have that big of an audience playing well and winning. That also makes it fun. But
all right. Cool. Well, I'd be remiss if I didn't have you on to bring up your best high school highlight, because a game we were broadcasting senior night, Shanley High School playing Wahpeton in 2015. Mom and Dad were there. We're broadcasting the game. Tell me what you remember about that night.
Oh, boy. I do remember it being senior night. I do remember that being cool, and the fact that, my dad could be there. And it wasn't like Friday, we got to travel somewhere.
Yeah.
I remember prepping the whole week because Wapton was always kind of tough competition for us. It was always a physical game, and I'm just glad that we were in quarters and I could read some quarterback eyes and jump a pick, man. But I know you bringing that up, I'm going to get so much crap from a bunch of different people. But obviously, it was a fun game, fun night to come out with a win.
You had a pick six, man. Come on, that was fantastic.
It was fun.
What was?
I remember Trey Dempsey giving me the most crap because I didn't celebrate hard enough in the end zone. So that's what I remember for that night too.
Did you when you caught it? Did you know right away you were going, or what do you remember about the play?
I just remember reading eyes and knowing I was getting like some sort of quick game outside of me. And as soon as I caught it, I saw no one in front of me. So, I mean, I hope I wasn't going to get hawked by an old lineman or something. I give our DBs a bunch of crap. I better not get tackled by an old lineman.
I'm pretty sure your dad never scored a touchdown, right? So you got that bragging rights. Huh?
I don't know. That's a good question. He returned punts and stuff back in the day, so he might have a couple of more opportunities there.
That year was, I know, super special because you made it to the Dakota Bowl, and I know your dad made sure to do that when they was a road game the next day. Describe that, of playing at the Fargo Dome and playing in the champ. I know it didn't go the way you wanted, obviously, that year, but what was that experience like? Still, even now, almost 10 years later.
I just remember it being really cool, just from being in that stadium. Obviously, I probably took it for granted a little bit more than others because I was at a Monday practice, at an NDSU practice, stuff like that, but it's still the cool deal of I've seen a lot of different events here. I've seen a lot of different practices, seen a lot of now playing in it. It was fun. It was kind of me looking up to all the other older guys that had played at NDSU that my dad had coached as well, trying to be like them back in the day, kind of my high school days. So
now that this is your profession, tell me about the excitement level you have for it. What are your goals on this? Like, what are you just in the immediate now to get ready for between now and the start of the season?
Yeah, I think that's always a tough question in coaching because everyone wants to talk, hey, what are you trying to do goals? Well, I'm always be where your feet are. And, in this business, if you're worried about the next job, you're worried about all the things that you can't control. How am I ever pouring into anyone in our room? How am I helping out Coach Olson, Coach Paulus, Coach anyone in our room? So the biggest thing is making sure my guys know what the heck we're doing. We're up to speed. We're all on the same page. And that way we can play fast, play physical, play our brand of ball. That's really fun for people to watch too.
I know. Before I let you go, we had your dad on last summer, and I was asking him if he had a, kind of a pinch me moment in the game of the Sugar Bowl when Nick Saban's across the way. What was the biggest moment for you? Like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm here. Was it that, or was there a different game that stands out to you about that?
I would say that one would be up there, just because you see all the cameras following him all the time. He's doing interviews pregame, first quarter. I mean, he's got enough media attention of his own, just right there. And then I would say, obviously, the one that sticks out is the Big 12 championship, playing at AT&T Stadium. I always kind of grew up a Cowboys fan, so that was kind of cool. My uncle was a Cowboys fan, so he kind of. I went against the grain. My dad's a Packers guy, so I wanted to kind of rebel against him. But I thought that was really cool. Just saying, man, there was not a whole lot of people that thought K-State could win a Big 12 championship when we got down there, and just kind of doing it the same mentality and same physical, control the ball, do those type of things, and win on defense. It was really cool.
Last question before I let you go: how eager, especially in your position group, that you're trying to prepare for Colorado and Shadur Sanders and what that could potentially be here for the first game of the season?
Obviously, it's an exciting experience because it's another Power 5 game that our guys get to be a part of. I know that's something that doesn't matter who it is. Off of that, they get excited to kind of prove their worth out there. Same thing right now. I think that'll get down the road in the summer that we can start focusing and game plan a little bit more on that. But I know our guys, they've been really energetic. They've had good passion out there in practice that they're trying to win and beat the offense right now, which is good. Same thing, being where their feet are. It's been cool.
It's great to see you, man. I really appreciate the time. I'm glad we could do this. Be well, and I'll see you up at practice soon, okay?
Sounds good. Good hearing from you. Check soon.
There he goes. Devin Klieman, NDSU Safeties coach, joining us. Some great chatter there. I knew he was going to hate me that I brought up the pick six, but I was on the call that one. That was a special night. Rhonda and Chris were there. That was a really cool day. That was our Game of the Week broadcast, and that ended up happening. Pretty cool stuff. We'll break. When we come back, we'll get you ready for a big Bison weekend, baseball and softball. Bison baseball team at home for the first time this early in 7 years. Bison Media Zone. Back on WDAY Extra right after this. Don't forget, we've got Bison baseball for you coming up here Friday night. The home opener, North Dakota State and South Dakota State. Summit League Baseball, 6 o'clock. You'll see it live right here on WDAY Extra. A look at the Summit League Baseball standings. South Dakota State currently sits in 4th at 4-4. The Bison sit in 2nd at 4-2. Just a half game behind St. Thomas. Remember, the Bison and Tommies had their series wiped out last week because of weather. We're still waiting to see if they will reschedule. I'm not sure when they're going to fit that in. The Bison baseball team actually plays tonight against a national powerhouse in Creighton before they come home to get the Jackrabbits. So we'll have coverage of that. As you saw, the strangest thing, Eric, throw that graphic up again. The team in last place, Oral Roberts, is 2-8. And again, reflective of what we saw in men's basketball, frankly, where the Golden Eagles were unbelievable in men's hoops, didn't lose a game. Baseball, they were even better. Remember, baseball made it all the way to the College World Series. Right now, they lost 3 consecutive series. They got swept by the Jacks. They lost 2 of 3 to the Bison at home, and they lost 2 of 3 to Omaha last weekend. So it is a struggle right now for the Golden Eagles at the bottom of the Summit standings. Meanwhile, Darren Mueller's Bison softball team got healthy last weekend against St. Thomas. We televised the home opener last Friday. NDSU playing its first game in the month of March in the Division I era at home. And they took care of St. Thomas thanks to Addie Bowers, who had a complete game shutout, her first at home. The Bison then lit it up against St. Thomas offensively after struggling to score runs in the first game of that series. They exploded in the final 2 games on Saturday, getting double-digit runs in each of those games and even up their mark at 3-3 in Summit League play after the wins that they had last Saturday against St. Thomas. 13-4 and 12-9 were the wins there. And now they go out of conference for their last non-conference series of the season this weekend. Little trip to UNLV to take on the Running Rebels beginning on Saturday, a doubleheader at UNLV, and then a single game on Sunday. So that's the upcoming schedule for the Bison softball team. And then it's back into conference play with a couple of big series, including league champion South Dakota State on deck. As you look at the up-to-date standings in the Summit League with Omaha and SDSU on top, Kansas City and NDSU tied there for 3rd in the Summit standings as we get now into the stretch run. We only have a month left in Summit League softball. Again, the schedule this week, Bison softball at UNLV, Bison baseball at home to take on South Dakota State. Those games for fans that are interested in checking it out goes Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at Newman Outdoor Field. And we mentioned the Bison with the game tonight against Creighton. We'll see how that goes. We'll recap that on Hot Mic coming up tomorrow. We'll see how the Bison baseball team does. And they're dealing with some injuries as well. Guy to watch, Jake Schaffner for NDSU. He leads the Summit League in hitting, and he's just a freshman. Check him out coming up on Friday when the Bison are back at home. That'll wrap up this week's edition of the Bison Media Zone. Thanks to Devin Klieman for joining us. We'll see everybody next Wednesday at 10:30.